All right, I won't tell anyone that you're the leaker behind all the Battlefield Labs stuff, but that footage is pristine, dude. If you could like maybe up the bit rate just a little bit, you know, some of the compression wasn't great.
Why does it look like someone's taking a oh god, that's really. I've seen a couple of the leaks, not actively going after them, but man, the resolution is terrible.
Oh yeah, well, I know. It's like if you're gonna risk everything, give me some good quality, you know, that I can sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. Because I don't think it's protecting their information that's popping up on the screen or anything, right?
Yeah. So welcome to the Level With Me podcast, everybody. We are talking about the Battlefield 6 leaks to start off today. It has been very leaky over the weekend. DICE is a sinking boat in terms of the amount of leaks that they got going on right now.
Maybe not the best analogy.
I regretted it the moment I said it, but
not the best analogy.
It's not a good analogy, but everybody knows that Battlefield Labs is going to leak as soon as they open up a playtest. We knew it was going to happen before they even started Battlefield Labs.
Speaks for their confidence, though, because if they knew it was going to leak, then they must have been happy with what they were showcasing.
It's working out well for them. They're getting free press from it, basically. Everybody's going crazy for the leaks. We got to see the Battle Royale map in the leaks.
Oh, like I said, I don't seek this stuff out, so I only saw like a short 30-second clip.
Okay, so we got to see the two big maps. Right? We got to see Firestorm and Mirak Valley. So we got to see what the gameplay on that looked like from the leaks. It looks good. I mean, Firestorm's as expected. There's a little more cover on it, which kind of makes sense. That's more of a modern trend. And then Mirak Valley looks pretty massive. Lots of like small villages that look like they can be leveled to the ground, so that's going to be cool.
We saw photos of it when they revealed. So was it like more than the photos, or
it was just they posted like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of like gameplay of running around the maps and playing the maps and stuff. It looks solid. Both maps definitely suffer a little bit from that like muddied color.
Yeah, but
stuff.
You know. Cinematic.
Yeah. Well, we've beaten that horse to death already, but you know, I was just hoping like maybe some of the maps would
a little bit more color
would lighten up a little bit.
If it's really bad and people are like, "Holy cow, what are you doing, DICE?" and this becomes in the grand scheme of things, if this is the complaints that the community has for the game is just like the color palette, then I think the game's doing all right.
Yeah, BF3 is one of my favorite games, and it had the worst color palette of all the games. So,
and with their expansion DLC, whatever they're calling it these days, comes out with new maps, then it could have a different color palette. They'd be like, okay, we get
it. Seasonal content.
That's what it's called. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there was a new map leaked with, or data mined, I should say, from Labs. That's what we're up to now, Matt. We're data mining the Labs build.
Wow.
They found a map that looks like it's meant for seasonal content. It actually looks like Southern California oil fields that you would see like in LA or around the roundabouts, that area.
Well, you could actually see, like, it was actually a playable map?
Well, yeah, they showed images from the map or, like, the gray box stuff from the map or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, cool.
Yeah, so they already got their seasonal stuff planned out, ready to go. We got to see the ladder in action. They leaked the ladder. It can be used as either a bridge or a ladder.
It's like a ladder. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's really fun. It's a ladder.
I know.
It's a ladder. I'm a little worried about people getting into places they shouldn't and causing problems. Not like, they got into the second floor building from the outside. You know, nothing.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like straight up getting onto a rooftop that normally wouldn't be accessible, and then grabbing the ladder, and then no one else can get up there unless they do the same thing that you just did, or what have you.
I imagine a level designer's like, all right, guys, I just finished the Battle Royale map. It took me 1 year. And then somebody else is like, hey, have you seen the new ladders we added? And he's like, what?
Ladder?
What did you just say? I'm going to have to redesign my entire map. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally see that kind of thing happening where, you know, some executives like, hey, we should add ladders to the game. And every level designer's just like, dear God, no, why?
Yeah.
So yeah,
'Cause
hopefully it doesn't
no
break
issue with
everything.
movement.
Yeah.
Just don't want people to get into places they shouldn't and
Yeah.
break the flow of the map.
Sure.
During Siege of Cairo was the best example of people not using the ladder because it wasn't in the game, but getting onto the top of the rooftops where it just broke down the flow. It's the map's not designed for it at all.
So they demoed it in the Battle Royale map, which got me excited.
Okay.
I gotta say the Battle Royale map looks pretty legit. So
Okay.
I don't know if they've disclosed exactly what part of Southern California it is, but it looks like Southern California. There's like a marina coastal section. There's like big retail shopping mall areas. There's further inland. There's like a deserty area with solar panels and military bases and that kind of stuff. There's a giant mansion up on a hill because if you make a battle royale, you have to have a giant mansion up on a hill somewhere so that people can be like, oh, we're going mansion. We're going mansion.
Of course.
And there's a couple other stuff in there, but everything seems destructible. And so when you see...
Wow.
So like I was thinking about it because Firestorm, Battlefield 5 Firestorm had a battle royale sized map, a huge map with buildings that were destructible, and it had a couple of really small towns in it that you could like...
Not a lot of points of interest.
Yeah. Mostly when you found buildings, there'd be like a group of 2 or 3 of them and you could break them apart. This, they've got like small like suburbs and small cities and small retail areas. They haven't shown how much of that can be destroyed, but if it can be destroyed on the level that they're showing elsewhere, that could be really interesting. I'm very curious to see if they like bring in bigger artillery to like really level some like city blocks and stuff like that. It could be dope.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, they have to be accommodated for performance because if you're going to have 100 players or whatever, how many running around, you would want to make sure that people aren't just lagging when things start to fly all over the place.
It's 12 players. It's
Oh wow!
It's
it's
small
like
Rush.
Royale.
It's like the Rush game mode. They're just limiting it to 12.
Wow, they're really at the forefront of new game modes here.
Yeah, no, the Battlefield community is silly. They're all like, I don't care about Battle Royale, but you know, I'm not going to be ashamed to say that I am excited for it. I still think Firestorm was one of the best Royale concepts out there, and that destruction should not be like looked over as like, oh, that's a neat little feature. No, it was like the feature that changed everything that like I didn't like about PUBG stairwell camping and stuff. It was like it fixed all of that kind of crappy gameplay. And the graphics on this map look good. The color grading looked pretty good, I gotta say.
Oh man,
it looked punchy. It looked punchy, but because this map is a modern like urban area, and we can compare it very closely to like Warzone because Warzone does that type of style as well. The graphics are just so much better. Like,
well, cool.
Because you look at Warzone, you're like, it's a pretty good looking game, all in all. It's not a bad looking game, but like just the lighting and everything in Frostbite is just on another level. It looks incredibly good. So I'm excited about that.
When do you think we're going to be getting it? Because I don't think we're getting it at launch.
No, there was a few white box buildings in it, but the other thing that I noticed that told me this mode is not ready is that the player showing it off from the leaked footage was just picking like a kit in a spawn screen, which looked like the typical spawn screen. Like it didn't look like it was made for a Royale spawn screen, and then just parachuting in randomly to the map with that kit. And it didn't, and then they were opening stuff like what should have been loot containers, and there's no loot in it. So it looked pretty early. It looked like they were just being like, here's the map.
So you're thinking like 6 months after launch kind of a vibe, or even further than that?
I don't know how fast DICE can work, you know, like they've got their new lean machine over there, and so supposedly they're faster and more flexible, but yeah, it looks a ways out. We're talking months of work here. If they're not even spawning loot on the map, then that's a lot of testing you got to do, right? You're like, we got to get the loot tables right.
It's also remember it's a leak thing, so it may however they're interacting with this leaked whatever may not be.
I'm making a lot of assumptions. for
Yeah.
sure. But it looked beautiful in terms of visuals. Gameplay, it looked like it was just missing a lot of the functions and systems that they're going to add to it. So,
Yeah.
Hard to make any judgment calls about the quality of the Battle Royale other than it looks really pretty and big and lots of destruction. So excited for that. Cool. Did you see, Matt, that we're not getting ray tracing Battlefield 6?
I heard, yeah, and I'm not too bothered by it. It's really funny because ray tracing was really pushed by NVIDIA. Battlefield 5 of all games, all the way back in Battlefield 5 days. That was like one of the first games that actually even had ray tracing.
Do you remember how well it ran when it first came out too?
Not great.
Yeah.
That was back in the 20 series cards for NVIDIA.
Yeah. 2080s, baby.
Series.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute, and it is kind of ironic that now they're not going to have it. So I'm fine with it. I would prefer performance. The game looks fantastic. I don't necessarily need to have ray tracing for a multiplayer game to be enjoyable. As long as the textures and everything are well made, then as we saw, the game looked amazing. So I don't think it's going to be a negative.
Well, it's funny because so BF5, and I remember playing that demo, the Rotterdam demo in Germany when they showed it off, I think around Gamescom or something like that. They had 2080s in it, and we booted it up, and I was like, this runs like absolute garbage, and you have it on like the best computer you can possibly build. Now, obviously, the modern tech can run it and make it look good, but also the difference when you're going, here's ray tracing next to non-ray tracing, you're like, notice how in the windows you can see your reflection and stuff? You're like, oh yeah, I see that. It's a subtle difference. The thing is
well, now,
yeah,
continue. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say base shaders, and the way that we've learned how to fake ray tracing for so long, because the whole game industry has been faking good graphics forever, right? They're like, how do we make reflections look more real without actually having to calculate reflections, because that's impossible at real time. They've gotten so good at faking it that when they actually got the real ray tracing working and they flipped on the switch, they're like, oh yeah, that's a little bit of a difference. And what's the performance difference? Oh, astronomically different. Yeah, I'm not going to be using that. Yeah.
I will say, though, that for some games that use ray tracing well, it can make the environment look absolutely realistic. It just, like, the way the lighting just bounces off everything. Like, this looks like an actual room.
Dude,
in
Minecraft
real life.
with ray tracing
it's a night and day difference.
You're like, whoa.
It's cool. So ray tracing is an awesome piece of technology, but it's also very resource intensive. And like I said, for a multiplayer video game, I'd rather have more people be able to play at a high frame rate and not worry about it. Because as I said, the game looks fantastic already.
Yeah. It looks really good. And we'll probably be able to do some side-by-side comparisons, between like BF5 and BF6 and be like, yeah, in some situations, BF5 does look better, but is it worth the massive performance hit? And all the render engine tech that they must have got a ton of money from NVIDIA to work ray tracing into their game.
Possibly, yeah. So they could be their showcase.
Yeah, exactly. So it almost certainly wasn't their initial choice to add that tech to the game anyway. It is one of those interesting things. And when this article came up, I started thinking about it again with the whole, like, the flack that like Unreal games have been getting lately. And it's like, yeah, a lot of that is because Unreal makes it so easy to just flip on a switch and now you got ray trace lighting in your game, and it makes everything just look so much better. And you're like, man, if we just leave that on, then our game looks amazing. Look how good our screenshots look. And it's like, it's sort of this temptation, right? Where you're like, if we want to make it look that good without ray trace lighting, we have to really get crazy with all the materials and all that stuff, and basically increase the budget and do all this stuff that's not really accessible to a lot of indie devs these days.
Yeah.
And so it sort of turns into this like, oh, if we can save a ton of money and still make our game look good if we just sacrifice 30% of the performance. So it's like, it's not an Unreal problem. It's Unreal's given some really easy to use tools that it's like don't have the best trade-off benefits for devs, and devs are choosing to go with the performance hindering features as opposed to optimizing the crap out of their game.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting. I'm
For sure.
hyped. I'm hyped from all the Battlefield 6 leak stuff though. The weapons that they showed off, like we've seen leaks of the weapon list and stuff, but seeing the actual weapons in game got me a bit excited. Like
I've heard they're adding like a lot of weapons. Like
there's a
lot.
There's a solid amount, and they're hitting some of the classics, man. Some of the ones that I like the SMG category. You get like the MP5, you get a P90, you get I'm trying to remember. They had a bunch of other like little SMGs that I really liked in there. The Chris Vector. They have a Scar for the assault. I don't know, just like all these guns that I'm like, yes, this is what every like modern tactical shooter should have, is these weapons, you know. I don't know. They just seen them in the game. I was like, this is classic. This is a throwback. This is like all the core weapons we want and need in a game. Little light on the machine gun front. They didn't have as many classics in there as I wanted. A little bit more on the modern side, but I'll live with it. I'll live. I didn't see a 240 Bravo in there, but it's
You got your list.
yeah.
Hopefully the leak is actually hopefully the weapons that we're getting is the full list, and it's not a piecemealed over the next year of seasonal content.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would be if they're going to show it in labs right now. They're only showing like
probably not
mostly finished-ish content or getting ready to be ready content. Yeah. So, yeah. It's exciting. Did you you
still one of my most anticipated games of 2025. So, yeah, I'm full steam ahead. I'm looking forward to it.
That and Hello Kitty Island Adventure 2.
Yes.
The first one was such a runaway hit.
It really was. Yeah. The gameplay, the atmosphere, just felt like I was there.
You know what's funny is it actually was a hit, so it
probably was. Yeah,
we can't even joke about it anymore. Like it was a hit, and people are like, "Yeah, it actually was a hit. I played it a lot. Stop making fun of it."
Yeah, but because Hello Kitty, shut your mouth.
It was a joke before it was a game. I just want to point that out. It was a joke. I read an interesting article about China shifting a lot of their game development toward the AAA.
Wait. You can read? I'm sorry. Continue. By the way, I love your glasses. They look fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. For those of you that haven't noticed, Level Cap's looking sharp these days.
I said, give me what Matt has. I went into the glasses store and I got what he has. So I read an article that was talking about how China is shifting into the AAA industry in like a huge way. So I think it's been harder for Western audiences to realize how big of a player China is in the gaming world because they've been focusing so much on the mobile market, right? There's a huge free-to-play mobile market in China, and we kind of write off a lot of those games as kind of trashy mobile games that we don't want to play. But with partially in response to the success of the Wukong game, they are now they have like full backing from NetEase and Tencent, two of the like biggest game studios on the planet, and they've got apparently like tons of major AAA games in the works, and they want to be like not just selling AAA in China but like globally, with games that are made there and not imported to China rather, which is interesting. I'm very curious about it because obviously we want more good games in the world. But one of the pitfalls of AAA is once you start investing a ton of money into a huge project, the game becomes extremely derivative and adverse to risk. And we've already got a lot of that. And we've got a lot of AAA games companies that are scaling back and kind of failing with a lot of their projects. That's been what's going on in the West. So I'm curious to see if China jumps in full steam ahead with this plan. Are they just going to make all the same mistakes that Western game developers are making, which is
probably,
making lots of super safe, uninteresting games where they're like, the next Far Cry type game, and you're just like, oh, it's kind of like a Far Cry game. Anything else? Well, no, it's just kind of Far Cry-y,
They had a good start with Wukong because I can only imagine how much money went into that. The amount of animations and unique animations and unique bosses, like there was clearly some money involved in that title, and it was a fantastic experience from start to finish. I absolutely adored it. And that, yes, you could argue it was like, Souls-like, and it didn't do anything completely new, but it was a fantastic game, and it did take some risks. Mm-hmm. So if we get more Wukong quality style games, I won't complain.
Yeah, I feel like the Souls-like genre is sort of immune to certain things as well, because
a little bit
people are like, I just want a Souls-like game, but it could just be in a different sort of universe with different mythology, and it kind of falls into that like fantasy book realm where you're like, yeah, there's gonna be wizards and dragons and knights and stuff, but it's like it's a new story with wizards and dragons and knights, and so people are all up for the next one. And I feel like Souls-like, they almost don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're just like, it's another one.
Well, they definitely don't have to reinvent the wheel, but I wouldn't say that it's like a sure win. I don't know if that's what you were implying, because there's a lot of Souls-likes that have come out that have been somewhat successful, but no one ever comes to. They're called Souls-likes for a reason. They're not it's not the Souls game franchise.
Right.
From Software has really just refined that formula, and it's hard to reach those same heights. Can you name any Souls-like off the top of your head other than Wukong, maybe?
What's the ninja one?
Ninja Gaiden?
No, there's the other one. Sekiro, is that it?
No. Oh, yeah, but that's also from Software.
Oh, yeah. You meant a non-FromSoft Souls-like.
Non-From Software Souls-like, yeah.
I guess the Jedi Survivor kind of ish. It's adjacent.
Fair.
It's not as hard, but yeah. They're out there. The Mortal Shell 2, hey.
That game's coming out, yep.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
The first one didn't do as well, but it did enough for a sequel, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing is, I think some of the Souls-likes are made with smaller teams and smaller budgets. So you're like, man, I barely even heard of that game. And like the indie devs are like, that was a huge success and it changed my life forever. And you're like, oh, okay. So there's different levels of success just because
no, for sure.
It's selling 15 million copies like Elden Ring or whatever they're doing. Did they do 20 million copies? Just some.
It was insane.
I think it might be 30. I think I'm totally off the mark
landscape
there.
May have changed, but I just remember many years ago, like Lords of the Fallen. The original Lords of the Fallen was one of the few Souls-likes that tried to emulate the Dark Souls franchise and just failed miserably. And there was this. Because they're on such a high pedestal from Software, if anyone tries to attempt something like that, they normally never reach those heights, and so it just like people just don't buy them. At least that's what my impression was.
Yeah, but they do have that interesting sort of life cycle where like Elden Ring comes out, everybody plays Elden Ring, everybody's talking about Elden Ring endlessly, and then it dies down, and then there's room for something else to be like, we're the new Souls-like that you can talk about for a little while. So, yeah, people just binge them. I don't know. It's an interesting market that I am fascinated by and terrible at playing. I'm so bad at it. I got frustrated with Jedi Survivor, man. I was like, this is ridiculous.
You can change the difficulty on that.
Oh, it wasn't on a high difficulty, Matt. I think I played one of the bosses like 12 times on stream. I was like, all right, guys, we're good. I'm off.
All right, I won't play this game ever again. Yeah.
I'm just going to go sit in a corner and cry.
I will admit, a little bit of a rant. I know this isn't relevant because it's been out for years. My issue with Jedi Survivor is there's fights in that don't make you feel like a Jedi, and I think it's such a downer because they'll send like 50 men at you, and you're supposed to like you basically just run around like a lunatic trying to dodge all their attacks. I'm like, this isn't a Jedi. Like, what is this? There's one room in particular where they send like all these guys that shoot at you. And then there's like 3 melee, and you're like, I can't just one-shot them because apparently a lightsaber can't do that in this game. And so you're just literally running around trying to like dodge every single attack and maybe block some and then get in. But it does not fit in my eyes, the canonical
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Jedi vibe, right?
Well, it's either that or they go the Dynasty Warrior route where you're just murking like 30,000 dudes at a time because you're just a demigod. It's a tough problem to solve because you're like, it's got to be a game that challenges you, but we can't just send a Jedi down to a planet and have him just kill everything he sees. So now all the bad guys have to have like crazy shields, and you're like having a duel with a dude with an energy spear or something. And you're like, who is this guy? I should be able to take him out and no problem. Or you're like, oh, I'm fighting a giant spider or whatever, and like, oh, it's really challenging. Like, nah,
I hate gank fights, and there are so many gank fights in that game. Basically, where they send out more than one enemy or multiple enemies at you, because then it just turns into they attack. Okay, one attack. Okay, cool. And then one attack. Okay, cool. It's like, that's not Star Wars. What do you what?
Combat systems like that are so hard to design. Like, I don't even want to try and wrap my head around what makes a good brawling style melee game, because they're so difficult to get right. And it's like, and then when they do get them right, you get what's that Ubisoft game that's still going, For Honor, remember that?
Oh yes, yeah.
That game had like incredible melee, and people like it so much that it's still doing well. And you're like, that game came out forever ago and they're still supporting it and like doing stuff with it, which is cool. But yeah, I don't envy the people that have to come up with those systems, because I just don't even know where to begin on understanding a melee combat system.
Yeah, it'd be really tough.
Yeah.
All that said, I really enjoyed the Jedi Survivor, the Jedi game, the two of them that's come out. I can't wait for the third one. That being said, I still loved it.
Are they making a third Jedi Survivor?
I believe they are making a third. I think it's going to be a trilogy. Yeah.
Cool. I almost beat the second one, and then I got bored with it.
And then I got bored.
I really liked this story in the first one. I thought it was great. And then the second one, I was like, so you just have to invent some new crap now because it's too hard to dance around the Star Wars canon. They're just like, and then there was a magical different part of the universe that had nothing to do with the current part of the universe. And you're like, all right, disinterested.
So you did play pretty far then. Yeah.
Yeah, far enough to know that I was like, okay, so these guys just are kind of out in their own version of Star Wars now, which, there's too much lore to dance around in that universe.
I can't keep up anymore. I stopped trying.
Speaking of Star Wars though, the guy who directed Top Gun and the Formula One movie is directing the Star Wars X-Wing movie.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So
very cool.
That's pretty dope. I'm absolutely ready to see.
Is it going to be a more grounded story? Or
I hope so, man.
Yeah, I hope so too. If it's about X-wings,
yeah,
that'd be sick. Just give me a Top Gun X-wing style. Boom!
Just
my God, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, just print the money. So it sounds like that'll bring me back to go see a Star Wars movie in theaters. Like, I don't know.
Definitely.
What else would at this point? But yeah, that's on my bucket list of things to see in a Star Wars movie. Just like hardcore X-Wing dogfighting against TIE fighters, and like some cool mission, some Top Gun mission where they're like, we got to hit the reactor of the Super Star Destroyer or something like that. And
doesn't even need to be on that scale. You just tone it. Actually, you know what? Tone it down. I disagree. Tone it down.
Tone it down. Yeah. I didn't say save the universe, but yeah, Super Star Destroyer is a big ship.
It's a big ship.
Yeah. It'd be sick.
It still would be sick. I agree.
Yeah. Did you see the No Man's Sky update?
I did, yeah. Pretty impressive how they just keep going, and it's always free.
Yeah. Hello Games are just, it's such an insane story for No Man's Sky, with the Sony overhyping it, them almost going out of business in production. Like, he had to mortgage his house just to pay the people to finish the game. And then huge upset at launch for kind of mismarketing. And then they actually delivered on the promise eventually. And now they're just releasing content for years and years that is 100% free.
Like a decade at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got to buy anything. We're giving you new stuff for free. And the new stuff this time around is a huge rework for them. It's not a small update. It's they had to change fundamentals of the core systems for the game.
I haven't looked into it too deeply, but essentially, from my understanding, you can make your own ships and you can design them from the ground up. People are making like Gundams. You can really go all out and use your own imagination to make your perfect ship.
I mean, to be fair to Starfield, it's a ripoff of Starfield's shipbuilding system, but I think they made it better also. So like, yeah, we're going to steal this because we like it, but also we'll make it even better.
And you can travel inside. You can get inside of your ship too.
With the crew.
It's not, right. So it's not just the fact that you can make it and then it's not like just a normal regular ship where it just goes into third person when you're flying around or first person. You actually get into this in like the innards of it.
Yep.
And you can also fly on the outside too. You can now get out of your ship when you're in space. Yeah. And they're just like, here it is.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that
so
cool?
Sick.
Multi-crew gameplay with spaceships that you can build. You can just join up with your buddies and now all fly together in the same big ship and land on a planet.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. I was thinking about checking it out, and then somebody's like, you're gonna have to like grind a bit to get that, and I was like,
That's what stopped me too. Is I realized it was probably gonna take a long time to get to that point.
Yeah. I really, as much as I respect No Man's Sky, the early game grind in that is one of the least fun things I've ever done in a video game.
Well, and I think that's actually one of the critiques that people have for the game is that it's very grindy, but it's also like you're basically just going from node to node to node to node, and like, there's a thing out there in the distance. I'll go see what that is, and it's just from node to node to node to node.
Yeah.
Right? It's way less shallow than it used to be, but it's still got a little bit of a shallow gameplay loop to it. And so if you don't vibe with that gameplay loop, it's like the game isn't fundamentally vastly different from where it was.
It's like task complete simulator or something like that. It's just like, here's a task, go do the task. Is it challenging?
Yeah.
Not really. It just takes time. Go do that.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. So yeah. That part of it hasn't gripped me, but the visuals and the stuff and them building up more and more with the big space stations and spaceships and all that, like, it's cool. It's appealing to it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how long they're going to keep doing it. I know that Light No Fire is using the same engine and they're sharing a lot of the same. I think they just interviewed Sean Murray for like a promotional thing for the update, and he was talking about how Light No Fire and No Man's Sky are kind of developing in parallel their engine tech, so it's sharing a lot of the engine tech. So if they come up with a cool new thing, like obviously one game's fantasy, one game's space, so that it doesn't translate perfectly, but a lot of that same engine tech is being shared across it.
Yeah, it's like they're using it as a test bed to experiment with things, which is really cool.
Yeah.
What I heard from one of my viewers, I don't know if it's true, but the spaceship building aspect will be incorporated into a ship building aspect in Light No Fire. So you could build like a ship that would like be on water, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was just someone I heard. It could be completely false, but
yeah. No, I mean, it would
make sense.
Why not?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Light No Fire does look really cool. I went back and watched that trailer again, and it really does look like fantasy version of No Man's Sky. Like a lot of the ways that like your ship takes off in No Man's Sky, your dragon takes off in the same way in like Light No Fire. I'm like, okay, I see what you guys are doing here. But I think it translates a little bit better as a fantasy game almost, where I don't know, something about that world seems a little bit more appropriate for the engine and the style of game that they're building. So.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, like we just said, I hope there's a little bit more depth to the gameplay loop. That's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is that they can make it less of go to point A to point B, and when you get to point A, then you got to do a little bit more there. And I don't know. We'll see what they land on.
If they're going to procedurally craft a world, like come up with a really smart mission system, like what's that game? Is it Rimworld?
Rimworld? I don't know what you're going to describe.
Yeah, there's a game that does like, it sort of has characters and evolutions that's like very dynamic. So you'll have a unique play session every time, and there'll be like different characters and different stories, and you can like get attached to these people and these ideas that are kind of procedurally generated from the game. And so like your play session could be completely different one time to another. And it's like, that'd be cool if they did something like that in Light No Fire, where you could have characters with dialogues and personalities and people that you would like do missions for or protect or whatever. And then those could inhabit the universe. So if they created a procedural system for missions and narrative and story, that could be really interesting.
Well, what I'm curious about is how in the world. I love the idea of you have a bunch of friends, like you have your own plot of land, like you have your own settlement, you guys can create your own, but it's like on the one planet that everyone else is on. And so everyone's going to have their own little area. And so how is that going to evolve, and how is that going to, like, if you want to go meet a friend and they're literally across the world, like how do you get there? And like, what's the transportation like? And how do they deal with quests, and how do they deal with progression? And it's fascinating. I can't wait to see what they come up with. But it's going to be tricky.
I know a little bit about that because I think they've already developed it for No Man's Sky. So the game is super smart. Like, this is why it's been running for so long, and I think more devs need to consider doing this. Is it uses peer-to-peer network matchmaking and networking. So it's not running off of a giant expensive game server. They do have their own servers, but those servers are mostly just used for matchmaking, where it just says, okay, put these people together, and now this guy's computer is going to run the game session. And then they just share the seed, and since the world is procedurally generated off of a seed, then the host's seed propagates to everybody else, and then all their worlds build on that, and then all they have to do is communicate their position and items that they're holding and stuff like that. And so it becomes a really cost-efficient way of doing network data. And then when you have, say, what you're describing is like, okay, well, what if I build a castle on this planet? Am I going to just be building my castle next to 10,000 other castles because it's a massive world? They've created a system to instance chunks of the world. So they're like, yeah, if you want to build a castle somewhere, we'll just calculate the distance around that castle. They didn't say this, but this is how I'm imagining that they would do it with that instance system. And just say, okay, so we're not going to spawn in any other player settlements for a radius of 5 to 10 kilometers around your castle. And now that we'll just instance it out like that. It's not simple, but they've developed the tech for it in No Man's Sky already, where you can be in the same place as a bunch of other players, but it'll instance out that place so that if the 500 people show up to one location, they might all be split up amongst 50 instances or whatever.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, if they can do that for Light No Fire, which it sounds like they've already semi-done it for No Man's Sky, then hopefully it'll work. But yeah, No Man's Sky has an easier time in that the universe is infinitely huge. And so the idea
and it's not just one world, one planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
want to make sure there's a lot of people that can show up, because if you can't, then that kind of removes the cool factor of it, right? That they're all on the same planet, right? You want there to be a lot of people that can be in one area.
It's a good point, because do you make the starting position the same for everyone, and then people radiate out and get further and further away from the start, or do you have them start at random locations around the planet and then they meet up at some point, in between?
Good questions.
I'm sure they'll test it. They'll just be like,
yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah. It's cool. So Tarkov officially coming to Steam.
Oh, 1.0, baby.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed they're coming to Steam. I wanted them in the
You're disappointed?
I just wanted them. They held out for so long not being on Steam and not giving Steam that 30%. They're like, we'll do it.
You got to get over your 30%, bro. Like, I know you don't like it, but
yeah. I won't. They held out for so long. I think it's good that 1.0 is coming. Do people know what it is yet?
I don't think they've shared yet. So their vision of the game is quite expansive. I don't think they're going to hit all of them. Like, they were supposedly going to have like traders in the world. There was going to be like an actual full story and quest line that was going to lead you to the end where you can eventually escape from Tarkov. There's going to be like an end game thing that you can escape from. which I think eventually will allow you to prestige. Maybe I'm just speculating.
Uh-huh.
Like they've got all these plans, and it's like, is that what 1.0 is? Are we at feature complete? So I'm glad it's finally coming out, and I'll play it. But will it deliver?
Don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It's Tarkov. I think people have just accepted that the game is always going to be like 30% jank. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's not going to be super well designed and clean. Which is how I start to look at I'm starting to look at games like Star Citizen. I'm like, I think it's always going to be jank. I think it's just going to be part of its DNA, you know?
It's fair. I mean, that's fair. You don't want to set your expectations to a manageable level, but at the same time, I'd like to think that we can expect games to not just be 30% jank.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
Yeah. So I was spying on you, Matt. I saw you log on Path of Exile 2 on Steam. How was it?
So it's pretty good. They've listened to feedback and they did a lot to, in my opinion, improve things. It's still hard. God damn it. I'm on the second boss and I can't kill it right now because apparently I'm bad. I still need to do my ascendancy, so I think that's probably maybe limiting my power. What's up?
Which is the second boss? I forget.
The second act boss, the big final boss of the second act.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kind of remember him. Okay. Yeah.
Big stand guy. Yeah.
He is hard. That guy's hard.
He's tough. He just has a ton of HP, and I'm like, I can't. It took me 5 minutes to get him down to like 40%, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of potions now.
Yeah.
I'm dead. So I clearly need to improve or get some more gear. But what they've done is one change that I really like. I'm not a big Path of Exile guy, so I'm sure there's going to be people that are like, this is such a small thing. But they've made getting ailments on bosses a lot more beneficial. So not only do they last longer, but now if you have like a combo with it, it'll do way more damage. So like if you shatter a boss when it's has ice, it will do like a ton of damage. Yeah. And so it's incentivizing you to get those ailments on like, frost, electrocution, stuff like that. And I like that. I thought that if you're going to have a combo system, allow the player to actually combo and do some significant damage when they finally reach that threshold, right? So I've been really enjoying that. They've got a sprint now where you can, if you've taken out basically the entire map, you can finally sprint from one side to the other if you've missed an area instead of slowly trekking on over, which is lovely.
Wait,
it does get you killed all the time though.
Oh, okay. So you can sprint whenever you want.
Yes, but the enemies will trip you and you will fall and you will be stunned for a solid like 3 seconds.
Oof.
And in that time you will die.
Yeah. Path of Exile is like, it feels like I like to play glass cannons, so all my characters are like that, where I'm like, as long as I kill them before they kill me, we're fine. And then as soon as I screw up once, it's like insta-death. I'm like, oh, okay, glass cannon.
Yeah. Which is fun. It is cool. So
what character did you start?
The sprint is a nice addition, though it can actually make things go slower because you sprint there and you're like, oh, I'm finally back to where I was, and then you get stumbled and killed, and now you have to run all the way back through all the mobs that you just ran past. So, yeah, I think it's a solid update. They added in a new Act 4, which I haven't gotten to yet because I'm slow and bad. But I've heard from players that it is around the same quality, if not in some ways better than Act 1. Act 1, I still think is peak, dude. Act 1 is so good. The story, the environment, everything. It's so good.
I like it.
So if it's along that same quality, I'm excited to get to it.
Sick. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I got games to play, Matt. I got games to play now.
They also added in 3 interlude or prologue, I don't know, in between that and maps.
Okay.
So once you're done with Act 4, then you go to the interlude where you will do these like little small stories. They're not permanent. I think the bosses and stuff will be permanent, and maybe some of the stories might be, but it's just kind of a transition to get you to maps. So I don't think you have to do the full campaign again once you get through it once to get back to maps. Because that was a thing, wasn't it? I never actually did that.
Oh, the endgame maps stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you're describing, but I'll just have to look it up when I get there.
Well, it's basically just more content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What is there a new character with this update?
No, Druid was supposed to be in it, but it was canceled until they delayed it.
Gotcha. You know what I want him to be? I want him to be like, you ever play EverQuest, Matt?
No.
The druids in EverQuest could just turn into a tree.
Oh, nice.
For like a while.
Just sit around.
As long as you wanted, pretty much.
Nice.
I want that to just be an ability for the druid in this, where it's like fast-paced chaos and then just tree.
Tree.
And then
just
like
tree.
The things are like, should we attack the tree or do we just walk away from it?
There was a giant werebear here. Where'd it go? Now there's just a tree.
If you're losing a boss battle, tree. Just tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, all right, I need to rethink this. I'm going into tree mode.
That's funny.
The true
Still
druid.
no swords, though, which really pisses me off.
Swords?
They still don't have swords in the game.
About? Wait, they don't have swords? What are you talking about?
They don't have swords in the game. I know. No axes, no swords.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Google it. There's no swords.
I haven't played a melee character yet, so I haven't thought about it.
0 swords.
Are you serious? There's knives,
I'm
though,
serious.
right? There's like daggers.
No, I don't think there. Well, maybe daggers. I don't know about that one.
Wait, what do melee classes use?
Like staves and stuff. Staves.
Are you serious? No.
Yeah. There's no. There's hammers.
This is a brutal world. Just beat people to death with hammers all the time.
Well, I mean, a sword ain't much better. I mean, it's maybe a little bit more elegant with it, but
It's true.
Yeah. Path of Exile 2 sword release date. Let's see what it says.
Sword release date. Dear God.
Yeah, so 8 months ago. Day 28 of waiting for the news on swords being added. And that was 8 months ago, and it still hasn't been added.
That's amazing. I don't know why I didn't think about that at all. But yeah, it's because I just like to shoot things with magic. Like swords are fine and all for you peasants.
Well, I want to play like a paladin. There's no paladin vibe either, but I'll be patient. I'll wait.
That's true. Yeah, I think if I start another character, it's going to be Necromancer. I just want
fair.
I want my little army of minions to kill everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's too much fun. Yeah, that's cool. What else? So, did you play? Is the new Helldiver update out?
Well, it comes out tomorrow since we record on Mondays. And boy, God, I mean, just one of the best live service games. It's just one of the best horde shooters ever made, in my opinion. Man, they just keep delivering over and over and over again. The ODST update came out last week, which was, I think, fantastic.
People were saying they did Halo better than Halo.
Yeah, in a way. Actually, yeah. Like, unironically.
Yeah, because you're shooting the flood-looking guys, right?
You can go against the squids, yeah. The Illuminate. They kind of remind you of the flood, 100%. Yeah. So they've got like the assault rifle. There is the ODST like weapons and stuff, which is really fun. And it's just solid. It's just it's basically just Halo, but inside of Helldivers. The weapons are powerful. They felt like they were useful. They introduced their very first suppressed weapon, so you can go a little bit more stealthy if you'd like. It doesn't completely change the way the game plays by any stretch, but if you wanted to go for a little bit more of a stealthy vibe, you can do that. The update that I'm really looking forward to, which is tomorrow, or it already came out if you're watching this podcast now, is subterranean levels. They're adding in 2 new missions. One of them is you are going to go underground to take out the Hive lung or something, like the Hive, which is just incredible. Like everything is outside procedurally generated, and they're like, no. What if we now had you go underground, which completely changes the dynamic of the normal gameplay loop?
I mean, it makes sense because this whole game is just vibing off of like Starship Troopers, basically. And that was a big component of Starship Troopers is going underground to kill the brain bug, kill the Hive at its source. So I love it. I love it. Hopefully the caves are super interesting and fun and not like, another cave.
That's what I'm a little bit worried about is how interesting will the cave system be? I think it's only going to be for the normal maps I don't think will have caves. I think it'll just be it's going to be its own map, right? Its own, like you'll when you select that mission, then you get the caves. But because you're underground, 90%, that might be actually every single one of your call-ins has to be called in from space. And so at the beginning, you have to call in your stuff before you go into the cave, but then you have to like be prepared to never have a call in after that. There might be a couple areas where the sky opens up above you and you're like, okay, finally we can call in some reinforcements to get our ammo restocked and stuff.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to call in like your napalm strikes, your anything, right? No orbital stuff at all. So you need to have the right weapons for the job. You're going to probably need a buddy that's got your like a backpack full of ammo and distribute that amongst yourselves.
That's
so
cool,
that
dude. That's like a very different vibe too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm hopeful that'll be challenging and there'll need to be a little bit more teamwork to come out of those successfully. I don't know what kind of monsters you're going to fight in there. Like, will there be a huge Titan that just shows up and you're like, there's no space for this and there was no place to run? Like, we'll see. But they also said that there won't be a lot of light, so you'll have to have flashlights, which will change the dynamic a little bit. It seems really cool. It sounds awesome. The final mission is you're going to drive around on a giant oil rig and a kind of oil platform. And oil, you're gonna drill for oil as you do. Just
this is in Helldivers.
In Helldivers, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you go around, you drill for oil, and then you'll have to defend your oil rig thing, your oil vehicle.
Okay. Yeah. So you're like being sent in by your faction to get more oil for the fleet or whatever you get.
Yeah. Just a new mission, just on top of, because they're like, if that wasn't enough. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, they're adding in a bunch of new enemies. There's going to be ones that tunnel underground now. There's going to be a dragon, basically, this giant flying titan that will spew acid down upon you, which you can either ignore or you can take out, which is awesome. And then there's, I think, like a lord, a hive lord, which they teased at the end of their trailer, which is from the first game. You see their carcasses scattered around the maps, but we haven't found one yet, and I think they're finally introducing it. So this update has the potential to be just absolutely incredible. I can't wait. Very excited.
Dude. Helldivers 2 is going to turn into that game where it'll be like that the heist games where they just can't beat the second one because they added so much content to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Payday, right?
Yeah, they can't come out with a Helldivers 3 because Helldivers 2 is just incredible.
Yeah, people will just be comparing it to Helldivers 2 and be like, it's all right, but it's nowhere near as good as Helldivers 2.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, the ODST thing threw me for a loop. They're doing all this crossover stuff with major IPs now, and I'm just like, it's weird. Like, I don't know how I feel about it, but it is cool in Helldivers. I like it, but
they said that they will only be picking crossovers that make sense for the universe. A Halo ODST
makes sense for the universe. I mean, like,
well, so they won't be doing like a Ninja Turtles crossover, right? So ODST makes sense. I mean, they're literally about drop potting into horrible war zones and fighting, right? Like that's Halo could have made a Helldiver style game, and it would have.
Kind of wish they did.
Worked.
Yeah, it would have been sick.
They could have. Yeah, it would have been dope.
Speaking of amazing crossovers, did you hear that COD is tampering down on the crazy skins?
Yeah, I did.
Or at least they said they're going to.
It kind of rings a little hollow, though, because the deluxe edition or whatever they call it has just really outlandish skins in it. Yeah. And like, okay, cool. There's clearly going to be a tone with this. It may not be Beavis and Butthead, wild, but it's still zombies and mech characters, which look neat. Like the quality of it's high.
Yeah, but they look so silly. Like if you're
they do look silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie mecha doesn't fit in with hardcore military looking stuff. So
no.
Yeah, it's funny because there's been a lot of backlash and people making fun of Call of Duty for just being so ridiculous because it really did start off as a World War II game.
Yep.
It was a World War II game that had very kind of over the top cinematic experiences, but they felt grounded, right? Where you're like, yeah, this is probably like the craziest mission anybody ever ran in World War II, but it's pretty epic, you know? And now they've got the Snoop Dogg and Nicki Minaj and the crazy Gundam skins and all that stuff in game.
Yep.
And they're getting made fun of, and kind of rightfully so, because they've taken a franchise that has been known for military, at least feeling more on the authentic side, and just turned it into the clown show, which is what it's being called.
They saw the success of Fortnite and they wanted to have that.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it. I'd say to some success, because I'm sure that they sold and made a ton of money off of it. I can only imagine the billions of dollars they made off of microtransactions.
I mean, I
think
bought the Gundam skin.
Well, there you go. There you go. But I do think that it's caused fatigue, and I think that's why people are so excited for. And I talked about this, in the past. I think there is an appetite for a AAA game that takes the settings seriously and just does things that are more grounded. Doesn't need to be 100% realistic, but gives at least the impression that it's fitting the vibe. Like there is an appetite for that, and we're seeing that now with even them acknowledging, like, maybe we've taken this a little bit too far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with Battlefield getting a lot of praise for them saying, we're not going to do all that crazy stuff. We're going to keep it grounded.
Yeah.
Granted, that's them saying it. There's always the developer who's like been told by his superiors that they're not going to add any crazy skins. And then like 1 week after launch, they're like, all right, here's the new list of skins we need. And it's like Clown 01.
Unleash the turtles.
Yeah. We got Ninja Turtles. Thanos is coming into the game. We've got Captain America in there. We're gonna do.
I still remember I was watching this streamer and he dropped in on Warzone and he ran into the building and there was just a Ninja Turtle guy running around. I was just like, I don't know why, because I think I just woke up and it was just so jarring to see Donatello with an assault rifle.
Yeah,
and I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Gundam thing is absurd as well, because obviously Gundams are huge, but you're just playing a Gundam the size of a person. So you're just like,
ridiculous.
I'm fighting a dude who's cosplaying in the game right now. And then Gundams have beam swords, which are essentially lightsabers. Yeah. And then you're just like taking out a lightsaber for your melee attacks and your finishing moves. And you're just like, okay, like, I like Gundam. I like it more than I like Call of Duty, so I got the Gundam skin for the Call of Duty game. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. And hopefully they pull back on that stuff. But if they don't, people have got Battlefields now coming in with their Battle Royale going like, hey, you want something that doesn't feel like Clown Fest? Come on over here.
Yeah.
You think they're going to have crazy seasonal content and stuff? I assume the Battle Royale is going to be the free-to-play component, which is what all the rumors have suggested.
I expect it to be free-to-play. I'm hopeful that they have plenty of seasonal content up and ready to go. If we have another Battlefield game that launches and it takes 8 months to come out with anything, that would be a unbelievable disappointment, and they'd be them dropping the ball again.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if it had the same loot system as Firestorm, where you're just like all the items fall on top of each other, and then you're like, I'm trying to pick up the piece of armor.
Didn't we learn from this before? What is happening? Do we never learn our lessons?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I do think they have learned. They clearly have learned.
This time, it seems that they've learned. You couldn't really say that the last, like, however many releases, though. You're just like, okay, guys. And even this time, it feels like some of the stuff we're still... DICE is still like, they've had the roadmap for how to do, like, good classes and weapon balance and weapon categories and stuff. And they're just like... I don't know. Let's just go back in time to when it wasn't good.
But that stuff, I hear you. I do. But that's something I'm not as bothered by, because I don't mind spicing things up a little bit. I don't think, like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and you shouldn't reinvent the wheel because it's a wheel. But I do think that having slightly different classes and / different class balance isn't like the end of the world, because it does make each Battlefield feel a little different.
No, I agree. And we've been over this. I'm more or less just saying, like, they've had the examples of how to do things the best way, and then
They
they go
have.
back to let's not do it the best way.
There are some things. It's a wheel for a reason, Dice. You don't need to reinvent it. The square is not going to work.
Yeah, they went octagon, and you're
Yeah,
like, it
yeah.
works. It's not a comfortable ride, but it works.
It works.
So we talked about Deadlock a little bit last time, but you've been playing it more?
I can't stop playing that game. It is so much fun. They added, so all the characters are now out. They had, I think, 6 characters that they were introducing every couple of days, and every single one of them just slaps. They're so fun.
Are
They
you
fit the
MLG Pro
world.
Doorman now? Are you going esports
God,
Doorman?
Doorman is so much fun. He's just, I love him. I love him to pieces. I finally feel like I'm getting better with him, understanding his vibe, literally launching people into a wall. It stuns them. I hit him with the doorbell, bing bong bitch. I ultimate them so they get sent to the shadow realm. They come back. They're like, what's happened? They get hit with another doorbell. He's the best. They added in Victor, who is basically Frankenstein's monster, but hot and muscly. I don't know why I'm focusing on that. Anyways, maybe I got a thing for hot monster Frankenstein guys.
We know what you're into now.
He's basically all about hurting himself, but then hurting people around him. So his main ability will only come online when he takes damage. So it can be damage that he does to himself, where he'll heal himself after the fact, but he does 10% of his health, and then heals for more. Or he has a radiating thing around him where it'll deal damage to people around him and himself as well. And then he can use his one ability to kind of hit people in front of him. He becomes an absolute raid boss. I was very far ahead in terms of money, so it probably wasn't fair. But I had this ability that I could click for my item that would allow me to absorb or to heal off of spirit damage, which is what he does. And so they got into the small little room with me, and they just melted. They literally, it just does radiation damage around me. Granted, my health was going down too at the same time, but I was healing off of it because of the spirit damage, and they just got annihilated. It was so much fun. Yeah, he's a blast. He also, his ultimate, he's a very basic character. His ultimate is literally, if he dies, he resurrects. That's it. He's pretty much a zombie, right? But he's
a pretty good
cool
ability. You can't kill me.
Basically, yeah. He's just a character that is just in your face the entire time. He doesn't die easily because he's got so much health regen and ways of getting out, and he's just always there, just being a nuisance. So he's really fun. They've added in a homeless vampire who's an absolute badass. There's a cute page who's she's all about fantasy. She literally sends out a dragon that does damage to the ground. She protects. She's all about being supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Deadlock is very addicting, level cap.
Well, it's crazy. It's so weird. Dice is not Dice. Valve is such a weird company. They're like, we're not going to make games anymore for a while. Here's Deadlock. We're just messing around. Also, it's amazing. There's been legend told of their corporate structure over there where everybody's equal, quote unquote. There's people don't have direct bosses and they just kind of work on what they would.
They just all do their own thing.
Yeah. And you're like, that's insanity. And then every now and then they come out with, I think you can do that when you make so much flipping money off of everybody else doing hard work for you.
Right. Or just having a machine that just generates billions of dollars that just sits there.
That's what I mean. Everybody else doing hard work for you.
Well, I wouldn't. Do you think Steam is doing a lot of hard work on their back end infrastructure for their store? I think it just kind of sits there and generates money for them.
Yeah, no. When I say everyone else, I mean game developers. They're doing the hard work. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. We're back to this again. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're just making tons of money from everybody else doing all the hard work now.
Fair. No, I got you now. I'm just
So they can just be like, I don't know. You want to make a game? They're like, I guess. And then, because people don't want to work on anything that's not inspiring to them, when they do get all ramped up over something, it's it turns into something like Deadlock because they're all building it because they want to build it,
Yeah. It's still a work in progress, so there's still problems with it, but it is such I don't know, there's something about Deadlock I don't know if it'll take off. I have no idea if it'll be one of those games like
How can
Dota
you
or
say
League
that?
of Legends.
You just said you can't stop playing it. Like
because
clearly
it
they
went
found
down
the
to
secret sauce.
10,000. It went down to 10,000 players only until recently.
Yeah, but it's because it's not
an
finished,
alpha.
right? Yeah.
Right. It's not finished. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it went down to 10,000. So maybe there just isn't as much interest. I don't know. What's this at right now? Deadlock Steam charts. It's currently sitting at 50,000. So it's doing quite well now.
Is it open yet for everyone or
no? It's only invite only. Yeah.
So it's also still got that slight barrier to entry, which isn't like a huge barrier, but
it is a barrier.
It is a barrier. It's like it's sort of like a speed bump, if you will. Yes. So yeah, I don't know. I see. It seems like they've got another mega hit on their hands potentially when they want to. And the ironic thing is like this could be Valve's biggest game ever, and then it'll still be a drop in the bucket compared to what they make off of just the rest of their business.
Yeah.
Gabe will be like, "That's cool. I'll buy like a mini yacht to go with my mega yacht."
My fleet of yachts.
Yeah, his yacht corporate. He owns the yacht corporation now that builds the mega yachts.
Of course.
Yeah. I want him to like make an underwater game, like James Cameron makes underwater movies. You know, I want him to be like, I'm obsessed with yachts in the water. Maybe he'll make like a yacht simulator or something.
I think he'll just stick to real life. Would be my guess.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't make it. He'd just tell people to make it. And then he'd pop in once a week and be like, that's not how yachts work. And then he'd like give him some feedback and stuff.
He's an expert.
Yeah. And everybody else would be like, we don't know how yachts work, dude. We don't have billions
We're not
of
billionaires,
dollars.
Gabe. Yeah.
That'd be a weird job being like a yacht captain. You're just like,
it would be bizarre.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably what it's like being like a private pilot for like a private jet or something, where you're just like, yeah, most of the time I don't do anything, and then when so and so needs to go somewhere, I take them. And
there are people that work on, because there's YouTubers that have literally made like a kind of a side hustle where they will document what they do on a mega yacht, and they live on the yacht, and it's not a cruise, it's a yacht, so it's for a client or people rent it or whatnot, right? Like, damn, imagine the amount of wealth to not only have the yacht, but then you have a full crew of chefs, cleaning crews, and they're working 24/7.
Wait, who's making the content? These are people who work on the yacht?
Yeah, so they're just like a day in a life on a yacht, but as a crewman. Yeah.
That's really funny. So the YouTube channel is like, I work on some super rich dude's yacht. It'd be really funny if that person became like a huge star, and then the guy's
some of those videos have a lot of views because people are fascinated by it, right? So it's kind of ironic that then they wouldn't make yacht money, because YouTubers can do quite well. They ain't making yacht money though.
No. Yeah, that is so weird. I am sort of attracted to the like more obscure stuff on YouTube. And or like not even obscure, but it's like the things that you're vicariously living through somebody else. It's like, what's that guy? The Outdoor Boys?
Outdoor Boys. Yep.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's immediately who I thought of.
Yeah. He's been in the news lately because he retired. He didn't want his family and people were just getting recognized too much. And it was becoming a problem, which is totally understandable. He's basically become a huge celebrity, but without any of the like celebrity protections. And also he's like, I just want to be a dude in the forest,
Yeah. And a dad.
And a dad. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, his videos are fascinating because you're like, this guy's like out in the middle of nowhere and like there's wolves and like all this other stuff. He's doing it. He's doing what we all like imagine doing, but he's actually doing it.
He's actually out there doing it. Yep.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of. I'm catching up on Clarkson's Farm, which is a great show.
Yes.
Have you heard of it?
That before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working through it. We're almost through season 4, and
nice.
It's fascinating, dude. I'm finding myself. I think this is what's inspired me to like just look up farm equipment and stuff lately. I'm like, I'll look up a video on my phone of like some really advanced like picking machine that like picks fruit or something. I'll be like, I'll show it to Natalie. I'll be like, check this out, and she'll be like, oh, that's sick. Look at that.
That's sick.
We
You guys are at that point in your relationship.
Yeah. She's basically a teenage Keanu Reeves. That's sick, bro. It's I don't know. I'm just obsessed with like modern farming equipment. I saw this one. The algorithm knew exactly that I was the right person for this new story. NVIDIA, there's a new piece of farming equipment that uses NVIDIA GPUs hooked up to like an AI image algorithm system. And then it's got mega lasers on it. And what it does is it scans your field of crops as you drive over it with these cameras. Those images are processed by the NVIDIA AI chips or whatever. And then it figures out what of the, billions of green plants down there are weeds. And then the lasers zap and kill the weeds. And so they don't have to use pesticides or things that destroy the topsoil and all that other stuff. Which is a big component of farming, is like they're destroying topsoil and then they can't farm the land anymore until it like regenerates.
Right.
So the solution is AI plus mega lasers on a tractor. And I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. It seems highly impractical. I don't know. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot for potentially a little.
Yeah,
but
Matt, pesticides are bad. All right, we gotta
pesticides
get lasers.
Are bad, but imagine all that went into making the GPUs, making the cameras, making
the lasers,
the tractors, the lasers. you've got the fuel now that's used to actually move the vehicle. That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It is a lot. But I so want to see it work, dude. Have you seen? So like some of these pickers have. You've seen like a billion quadcopters, right? So like,
yeah,
they have basically quadcopters, but they're attached to like power cables, so they never run out of power. And they fly around these picking machines that drive. And then the quadcopter has a robot arm on it that reaches out to the tree. It's got a camera, so it knows what kind of fruit is ripe, and it'll just pick the right fruit, fly back, and put it in like a basket.
Oh, that's cool.
On the thing that just drives down the orchard or wherever it's driving. I'm like, come on, dude. How it basically looks like a giant Medusa head or something with like all these little quadcopters flying around with little tethers on them.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Farming equipment is like the most high-tech equipment like in the world.
It's pretty awesome. Like, I can't lie. It's very cool.
Well, because it's like every time we have a tech advancement that can aid farming in some way, it's like mass savings to them, right? So they're like, yeah, because
potentially.
It can, at scale, right? Which is how they do a lot of farming, is like they do it at like hundreds of acres, right? And so they're like, all their equipment, like a normal tractor costs like, it can be like $250,000 just for like a tractor.
Right, they're unbelievably expensive. I was gonna say, because it depends on, your small farmer ain't gonna be able to afford probably this stuff, but your mega corporation might.
Yeah. I am gonna, when like, I swear I've said this on podcasts before, I'm like, who plays those farming sim games, It's gonna be me in like the next month or so. I'll be like, Matt, you got to try out Farm Sim 3, dude. It is next level. Okay.
I'm sorry, level cap. There's Farming Simulator 25. Thank you.
Yeah. The Combine Sim is so accurate, man. Like, those Combines.
They are addicting. They're fun for what they are.
Well, my wife has a cousin who lives out in Eastern Washington who works on a farm and drives Combines. I'm like, maybe we could do our vacation over there. Farm country. And she's like, like maybe
or we could go to Hawaii or something, honey. We could go somewhere nice.
Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go out to farm country, hiking, drive some combines. Maybe just try it out, check it out. She's like, this is getting too serious. My Amazon feed is like, hey, this excavator's on sale. I'm just like, oh, it's only $7,000.
How much does an excavator cost?
You can get a mini Chinese excavator for like $5,000.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking excavators would be like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They are. But if you get a really cheap one from China, you can get one for
$5,000. It could be also cheap for a reason.
Yeah, I've watched YouTube videos on guys using them, and they look pretty good. Honestly, like people with just a bunch of land, they're like, "Yeah, I need to dig holes and move trees and all that stuff."
Yeah,
they're cool. Man.
I don't think you need an excavator level, but
no,
I don't want to. I'm not you, so.
Well, I did the math. I was like, okay, well, I just don't have enough property to make use of an excavator. You know, I dig all the holes that I need to dig, and then it'd be like, all right, like that's the whole backyard. You've dug everything up. So what I need is I need to buy land. Okay.
There you go.
I need to buy just like acreage, 100 acres, something crazy. Mm-hmm. Then I buy the excavator, but then I also have to buy a trailer and a truck to haul the excavator around. So it's becoming quite expensive to pursue this hobby, but one day I'll get there. I'll get my excavating going, and then I'm going to get those drone fruit pickers too, Matt. Those things look cool.
Sounds like you just want to be a farmer, and that's cool.
I do, Oh, truthfully, number one job in the world, if I could take this job and still support my family, would just be an excavator driver, like a dude who just gets to operate heavy machinery at a construction site. I'd be like, let's go. You
can do that.
I know. I've looked up how much it pays on average, and even at the top of the field, I'm like, I can't. Like, it's barely livable wage, and then you don't got anywhere to go from there. You're like, I'm at the top of my game as an excavator driver. Like, I could become like the foreman, the dude who like runs the thing, but that's not fun. Then you're doing paperwork and sitting in a cubicle thing. Like, I want to be digging holes, Matt. A glorified ditch digger, essentially.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much what you're doing.
Yeah.
The average salary for an excavator operator can vary, but generally it falls between $50,000 to $60,000 annually. I mean, that's not too shabby. But it also depends on where you are.
Yeah,
depends on where you are.
2025, man. 50 to 60 a year, and raising kids it's tight.
That's tough.
Yeah, we'd have to make some downgrades.
But like I said, it does depend on where you are, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, there's a lot of construction around here, which is. It's like teasing me, I'm always driving past like new builds, and I'm like, oh, check out that excavator over there, man. Look at that. I mean,
you could always Deere. You could probably do like a school, go to a school or something to learn how to be an to use it.
It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, you can just do that. And you can have fun doing that, and then just don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I could take jobs that it's like I don't know if you could take a job like one day a week or something, but. They'd be like, hey, man, I need you on site this week. I'm like, oh, I only work one day a week excavating, man. I wouldn't get very good at it. All the other excavator drivers would be more competitive than me.
50 to 60 is not bad level. You could take that. That's not bad. I know you said, but that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. Hey, if I win the lotto or like my Dogecoin goes to $1 billion, then, I don't actually.
What is the average
Doge, just
salary United States? The average salary in the United States, $39,000. So it's above average.
Wow. Yeah. There's that funny stat where it says like the average income and then of the American person, and then it's like it's really high. It's somewhere like 80, 90 or something like that. And then they go, okay, now if we move the top 0.01%,
oh yeah,
it just drops.
Yeah.
It just plummets way down. You're like, oh my God, the income inequality is insane.
Yeah.
Like, let's do the average and remove the outliers. It's
the median is what you're looking for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a word for it. Look at you and your stats class knowledge. You know what you're talking about.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I didn't flunk out, but I didn't do very well in my stats course.
Yeah. It was as soon as you got to median, you're like, that's the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh man. Well, you wanna wrap the old podcast up?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for dropping by. We are trickle feeding off of those Battlefield leaks every week. I'm glad that they're doing Battlefield Labs. Maybe we'll have some more crazy revelations for next week. If you guys want to support the podcast further, you can check out our Patreon in the video description and watch us record it live on Mondays. And say stuff in the comments and bring up stories. And Jason's talking about nerdy Star Wars. We mentioned Star Wars, and Jason started going off on his nerdy Star Wars stuff, and I've been ignoring it. But that's what you could be doing right now if you become a Patreon member. So pretty enticing. But either way, each week you will get some advice from Matt at the end of an episode.
So unless you're Mr. Moneybags over here, level cap, you can be an excavator for 50 to 60 grand a year. That's not bad. That's not, you know, like level cap said, you can go to school for it, and you know, it's money in the bank.
Yep. It's like,
also drink a lot of water. That's my next piece of advice. There you go. Some normal advice.
I don't know if you can always just be like, I want to do the excavator, like at every job site. I think you get like a heavy equipment license.
That makes sense.
That qualifies you for like dump trucks and bulldozers and whatever, you know. And then you're like, no, I want to be the excavator guy. And they're like, hey, man, we need somebody to like drive the forklift. And you're like, man,
I like the excavator more, though.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick or choose. In fact, you know what? If somebody works in construction, let us know in the comments, because I clearly haven't done my research on this, and I'm just envisioning a life in which I get to show up at a workplace and dig a hole with an excavator.
Dig holes.
All day.
All day, baby. Just digging holes.
It's going to be a really small job opportunity.
It's cool seeing like a mountain disappear or a giant hill, right, with like bulldozers, and it's sick.
And also, once you get good at them, man, you can like grade the ground with them, and like there's like an art form to it.
It's cool.
It's like when you see a samurai like chopping bamboo perfectly or something. You're like oh,
samurai, excavator.
I'm just saying
the same thing.
You can the skill ceiling is similar. You know, sword play versus excavator play. I think you can kind of forever get better at them. But anyway, one day, I'm just going to have it one day. And so I'll be like, Matt, I'm retiring. Just going to go dig holes.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. We're going to end it there. Thank you so much for dropping by. We appreciate all of you. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.